Mission to the Philippines by David Clark.
This will be my third Trojan horse mission to the Philippines.
And first to Baguio and Christ-centered churches. I was due to fly out to the Philippines on the 14th of April on a flight to leave Gatwick Airport at 3 p.m. Rebecca and Ellie had arranged that I should stop at Dubai en route
to see her and the family and the grandchildren, which was an 8-hour flight to Dubai and a further 8 or 9 hours on to Manila.
At 5 p.m. on the afternoon of the 13th, Jess realised that in order to get my bags checked in 3 hours before the flight left, I needed to get there earlier on the train to Gatwick and get there for 12 noon. It wasn't realised at first that I had a large suitcase to carry and not just a small-sized case that I could take with me on the plane. So Rebecca and Jess quickly managed on the internet to change my train ticket to leave at 8:35 a.m. the next morning on the 14th to catch the train to Gatwick instead of the 10:35 train we'd booked previously. Meanwhile, I got my bags packed, getting ready to go, and I woke at 8 a.m. on the morning of the 14th. I still had in my mind that I was to catch the 10:35 train, and I'd forgotten the new arrangement for me to catch the train earlier that Jess had sorted out.
As I was taking time in that morning, Jess suddenly reminded me.
At 8:20, I had just 10 minutes to catch the train, and I realised I must rush.
Thankfully,
and Ali was there, who I call the President of Pakistan, to take me to the station in his car. He was waiting. So I quickly gathered all my things together, but in the doing so, I forgot to carry my video camera. But I managed to get the train on time. I find all this travelling, booking tickets, getting COVID vaccination clearances and certificates too much for me. So, thankfully, Rebecca stepped in and did it all for me. The week before my leave, I decided I should write my will, as I'm 73 years old, and you can never tell what might happen. So on the previous week, I'd written the will and got it signed by 2 witnesses, and I'd sent a copy to Ellie, who noticed that there was a spelling mistakes and other things wrong. So I decided to get it redone and get it re-signed on the 12th of April. And just before I was to leave that evening to get it signed by Joanne, she called me on the phone to say, "Don't forget the will." The thing is, I'd forgotten and hadn't got it with me, so I would have left that night and not got the will signed. Well, there you are. That's me getting old and forgetful. I realise now I needed a minder with all this modern air travel and modern planes and actions. Then Isaac texted me, my son. He said he thought it was a miracle that I'd lived so long, that I was a living proof that God had managed to look after me all this time, through all my mishaps that had taken place. I told him that I believed in angels, that they were sent by God, and they looked after me. And they came not only in spiritual forms, but also in human form. Thinking of Joanne, who came to help me on Tuesday night, just to remind me to catch the train on time, and Rebecca that had done all the work for me, and then Ali the taxi driver. So I texted Isaac to tell him, but he didn't seem to understand the message. He said I was wrong, that it was simply Jess and Ali coming to my aid. I checked in at Gatwick. That went smoothly, as I followed Rebecca's handwritten instructions. And I spent a nice time in the departure lounge preparing what I had to say and speak about in the Philippines on my laptop. On arriving in Dubai, it took a long time to reclaim my baggage, and on departure I could not see Steve, that's Ellie's husband, who'd come to pick me up.
I had no means of communicating with him because I had no SIM card in my phone.
So I decided to walk to the exit via near the car park to see if I could see him. It was so busy, filled with taxis. Steve and I missed each other, so I tried to message Ellie on my phone, but I had no SIM card, and it didn't seem that the airport Wi-Fi was working either. So all I could do was wait and see if any of my messages got through. I decided I had no means of getting through, so I'd sleep in the Dubai hotel lounge. And I asked the desk attendant to try texting Ellie on her phone. But she had several phones on my phone, and none of them worked except one, and that wasn't answered. And then just at that moment I saw Steve. We saw each other, just like that, and all went well. I had a wonderful time in Dubai. Hot bath, drinks of my choice, and a great sleep the next day, and a lovely steak meal. Ellie arranged a massage for me, and a pedicure, and a manicure. It was such a treat for an old man of 73 years old. Thank you all. We're in Dubai now at Ellie's house, and I've just been having a massage on my hands and my head and my body. All in Dubai, Philippines. And this is for you, Ellie, and Mum. Thank you very much. Thank you. We thank God for His mercies and those angels, Joanne, Rebecca, Jess, and Ali, and doubting Thomas Isaac. Read this, get ready for the next video.